Hi guys, it's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a minute. Anyway, so today I want to talk about propaganda. And what I want to talk about is how, in any position of leadership, we seem to find that people use propaganda to keep whoever they're leading in line. And I think, okay, so I just finished watching the latest episode of Snowpiercer, which is a series on Netflix about a train 1,000 cars long. And they all think that the train is run by Mr. Wilford, who is in the engine. He is the engine. The engine is eternal. Turns out Mr. Wilford died before the train got started, and it was actually the stewardess or whatever who was running the whole thing, right? So, anyway, yeah. So that got me thinking about, the tools people use to manipulate their followers. And I'm just in the middle of reading a fan fiction called Metaphysical Inc. about, the propaganda that they were living under, that if they have human things, then everything will be destroyed. And it's just the same as our leaders. Our leaders are constantly spewing propaganda of one type or another. And then you find that when they tell you the truth, inadvertently, sometimes they tell you the truth. And people always act shocked about it, like it's the first time. And these people have been telling you and telling you and telling you who they are. But somehow, you'd rather just like believe in the propaganda than admit to yourself that you're being lied to, right? So, and then I broke it down right down to the family level. And I realized that even with our kids, we bring them up using propaganda. I mean, this whole thing of saying I was always number one in school and I don't drink and, I'm such a God-fearing Christian. Okay, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you guys because I don't do that shit. I absolutely just be who I am in all my flawlessness. I just try to be who I am, even with my son. And he told me the other day that the greatest thing that I've ever taught him was to never give a fuck about what other people think, which I felt like my heart was melting because really, yes, that's that. If I was going to choose one thing for someone to remember me for, it would be that. So I was saying, so we have all this propaganda that we use to box people in, box them into doing what we want. We tell our kids we were number one in school, and so they have no reason not to be number one. Or maybe you just want them to think that you're better than them, or I don't know, that you know better. And honestly, frankly, in primary school, I was number 2 and number 3, and then in secondary, I was in the 20s to 30s. Because my secondary school was, of course, much more elitist. I mean, they took a certain cutoff. So, I don't tell my son that I don't even tell him about, like, oh, I was so bright or whatever. I just like let him be who he is. And honestly, sincerely, my son is a better student than me because right now he's doing online classes and he does Zoom meetings every day. And I know I could not do that shit. If it was me, I would just not be attending those classes. I'm serious. Zoom makes me tired. Anyway, so I was just thinking about why do we have this thing of propaganda? Why must we lie to people in order to lead them? Why can't we lead with honesty? But when you have a president who is sort of honest, you find, or not even a president, just any leader who is a little bit honest, there's so much anger directed at them for being truthful and honest and saying the truth. I find it so bizarre because, we grew up with the propaganda that adults prefer honesty and truth and all those things. And the truth is that you begin to realize that it's just the opposite. People prefer to be lied to. They want to be mollycoddled. They want to be placated. They don't want to deal with reality as it is. They want to deal with reality as they want it to be. And so if you're an honest leader, you're faced with that dilemma of trying to lead people who they want what their parents gave them. They want to be lied to. They want to be mollycoddled. They want to be told, I will take care of you always. When it's not true. It's not true at all. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't know where I belong because everyone seems to be going east and then I'm just going north by myself. Also, propaganda is not missing from this new crisis that we're facing. I don't know if you know this, but your life is never going to go back. You're not going to go back to normal. Please listen to me. You're not going to go back to normal. You're going to adapt or you're going to die. Those are your options. Because this flu it's not going anywhere and it's getting worse and it's mutating. We don't have a vaccine. We don't have treatment. It's like it's not even it's like an autoimmune disease. It's not specific. It's not a respiratory thing or a stomach thing or a mental health thing. It's all those things. It attacks every single cell of your body. Look at that Nick Cordero guy. First of all, coma, right? Blood clot. So much so that they had to amputate a limb. He's still fighting, but still in a coma. They had to, both of his lungs collapsed. Okay? He needed to have both lungs transplanted. Okay, this is just COVID-19. There were no other underlying symptoms. He was 41 years old. Okay? So this thing attacks every single molecule of your body. And people don't take it seriously. People don't, because they don't want to. They want to think of it, oh, it's just a cold. I'll get a cold and then I'll be better. And we really hope that you get a cold and you'll be better, but that's not just what's happening. It's not what's happening on the ground. And I'm just here trying to save your life, okay? So please listen to me. You have to adapt or die. That's the truth. No propaganda here. No propaganda here. So, please try. Please try. You know, even as masters of industry or whatever, just sit down and just like tell yourself, if I'm going to think about profits for just this year, I will reopen my business just the way it is. If I want to have a long term sustainable thing, I have to make changes. I have to make changes in how my workers are working and how probably my office is even arranged. Okay? Make sure that people can social distance, that they have protections in place, that you have protections in place in terms of cleaning services, in terms of running water, in terms of being able to serve your clients without putting anyone at risk. And it's possible you can do it. There are enough post apocalyptic movies around. There's enough technology around that give you the tools to be able to do this. We have to start thinking long term. We have to start thinking sustainable. Otherwise, there's no future. There's absolutely no future for any of us. Okay? We are all done. We're all living in search of paradise. It's not a good place to live. There's no running water there. There's no toilets. Okay? You're sleeping on the ground. You don't want that life. I don't want that life. Okay? So please, there's no rain. Okay? It's always hot. You're in the desert. Please, I beg of you, don't make me live that life. I'm growing old. I need my bed. Anyway, so that's that for propaganda. There's also the propaganda that we tell ourselves. The other day, I was going to the market and I wanted to buy some more sweatpants because you can never have too many sweatpants. And the guy at the marketplace was telling me to buy gorgeous velvet sweatpants, and I was like, there's no way those things can fit me. And he's like, this is your size. And I was like, no, it's not my size, it's small, it won't fit me. So he's like, take it, if it doesn't fit you, bring it back. So I took it because it's a really pretty sweatpant. I took it. And another one which we also had the same argument. And I came home and both of them fit. And I was like, wow, I always say, like I said earlier, that my whole thing is about not giving a fuck. But I realized that I have allowed people's image of me as a fat ass to affect me. And when I say people, I mean like when you go to buy something, you go clothes shopping, the vendor always looks at you skeptically, like, are you sure that will fit you? So I end up buying things which are so big on me and baggy and ill-fitting, because I always err on the side of too big, right? And I realized that I have let insidiously that idea that I'm actually fatter than I am affect me. It has affected my brain. And sometimes we don't realize that we're letting propaganda in. And now I'm like, wow, how many clothes have I missed out on because of this thing that I automatically think it won't fit. It won't fit me. I thought I was through with self-revelations, but those never stop, really. 45 years old, going on 46. We're still here in the trenches. Anyway, so have a propaganda-free week. Mwah. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. For this segment, I will be joined by my son, Christopher, who is going to give us his thoughts. I'm not even going to try and monitor which thoughts, but hopefully they're going to do with the propaganda that we're seeing. Like, Chris, I was just telling my audience about how parents use a lot of propaganda when it comes to raising their kids. Like telling them I was number one in school.
You used to tell me that.
Did I?
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
I don't know. I was not number one in school.
I know.
I was like number 2 and number 3 in primary school.
Did you guys hear that? She's still using propaganda.
I have witnesses.
I'm
I have
20.
witnesses.
I already know the reality of life.
In secondary school, I was like number 20 and number 13.
Damn,
because Kabirians were more.
I was like number 8 to 14.
I saw your report card, sweetheart.
Yeah, I was in class.
Anyway.
Okay, guy.
So I was just saying, like sometimes we use propaganda in a way that to control, right?
Yeah.
We are trying to control the narrative or behavior. And I wanted to hear from the other side, what would be your suggestion as a child? What would you prefer?
Stop adding so much pressure.
Instead of propaganda, instead of me trying to manipulate you into doing what I want you to do.
Okay. Sometimes it's better. Like, sometimes it works. Okay, yeah, sometimes it works. But also, sometimes it's so much pressure. Because I can remember, like, so many times I used to go to school and in the middle of an exam, I used to think, like, Mom used to be number one, that's what I used to think. But I never used to think, like, no, not in the middle of the exam. Like, when after the teachers had marked and we were getting our results, and we used to calculate, you know, the students calculate for themselves, and they're like, Ulipata. So I thought I used to get, damn, Mom used to be number one, just out here being like number 8 in class. Damn. Yeah, so it adds pressure.
Good pressure or bad pressure?
Bad pressure.
So what would you rather?
Because I always just feel like, damn, another disappointment.
You used to feel inadequate.
Yeah, when it came like to school. But which other propagandas do you tell me? I don't really remember.
Well, I didn't use propaganda much. I'm not one for propaganda. But let's just say, yes, I mean, if I don't pretend to be like this super virtuous, I am perfect at everything parent. Doesn't it be like that? Okay. You see, that's the thing. This is good. I didn't know that you perceived me as someone who uses propaganda a lot.
There's no perception. There's only facts.
Alright. So give me some facts.
I don't know. Like, I can't think about them on the spot. See, this is why you ask questions before podcast so I can get ready.
Okay. Alright.
But, like, I don't know. Parents create such a picture of, like, perfectness. My 2 fingers are in the air quoting. So, parents use, like, pictures of perfectness to, like, try and guide their children. Then now that I'm 20, there's so much shit in the world and I wasn't ready. Okay, me I was, because we also went through shit. But then, like, for other kids.
Yeah, that was my point. Exactly. Like, I didn't try to, like, propaganda you into thinking the world is a perfect place, and if you
No,
just
early on, you kind of did. But then when I started like realizing, nah, you're lying.
really
The
like
world isn't
what?
perfect. Then after that, you're just like, okay, he already knows. Hakuna haja. Yeah. Then you're just like hitting me the facts every day.
That's so weird because I never thought that I gave you any like impression that the world is a perfect place.
You did, like early on in life when I was a kid. When I
Mm.
was like, let's say like obviously beginning of life till like around class six. Class six, how old was I? Like 12, yeah. Then we started to have like a shift. No, class seven. Yeah, class seven. I was 13. We had like a shift in life. I don't know. We just went from, I don't know, parent and kid to roommates.
I think that's how you remember it. How I remember it was like you were just like this happy child. You were like, in spite of everything, hardships.
Bullying.
Yeah, you were just like this happy child. And
Yeah, because I told you.
I just thought that was just like a gift that you
Because
had.
the one thing that you used to teach me when I used to tell you I was being bullied in school, you used to tell me, even me I was bullied. Because we were in like an Indian school and we were the only black kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you used to tell me you used to be bullied and just be like, okay. So, yeah. Now, right now, if a kid goes, okay, most parents, if a kid goes and tells their parents, oh, I'm being bullied today, so the parent will be like, no, don't worry, John, it's better, this is what they're saying isn't true. As in, they'll try and like comfort you instead of hitting you with like, what, you don't have to care about their opinion. Parents will always be like, I'm going to talk to the teacher.
Yes, well, I did try to come and like defend you, but you always like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, cause if you go and tell the teacher, now you become a crybaby also. That's another reason to be bullied for.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's how I used to think. So it's like, Mom, come on, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Yeah, but then it never, yeah. Sometimes it used to hurt my feelings sometimes. Okay, not sometimes. Most of the time.
It hurts your feelings, but you don't have to let it like change who you are or how you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know.
Because you can't. There's not really anything
like,
you can do about other people's behavior.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It used to hurt me like for a while. Then the next day I was like, right. But then bullying is such a like Neanderthal thing to do. Like bullying is just a way for other kids to deal with their own insecurities. Yeah, bullying is such a dick move, and it's I hate bullying. Oh my god. Yeah. So I don't know. I always used to think like just don't be like those other kids. Just don't. Bullying will never be cool. Even though I wanted to be like have a huge group of friends or this group of friends or get shorty me. No. The most important thing was stay individual. Don't conform with other people just so you can fit in or so that niggas can stop bullying you. As in, if that's your way of dealing with insecurities, hey, I'm glad to help. we move. That's your issue. That's your issue with me. I don't care. I don't have an issue with it. So yeah, that's how I used to think. And that's only because you used to tell me like I didn't care. The next day you used to tell me, come in with new content, man. You bullied me about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, I literally used that line.
Really?
Yeah, in high school. And the guy was looking at me like he was so confused.
Yeah, the thing with bullies is they're like they have a script.
Yeah.
Scripted how you're supposed to react.
They're not creative.
Yeah, so when you just go off script, they're
Yeah,
just like left flatline,
yeah,
flatline, no more thinking, end of thinking capacity, which is amusing. Like I used to find that amusing
yeah.
internally,
Me too. I used to be like, ha ha. Look at you now. Look at you now.
but not like I never used to say it out loud. I just used to like.
Me say it out loud. Then he looks really stupid after he said it. And we're just there like, ha ha.
But I don't think. I mean, I don't think that you were as unpopular as you think you.
Yeah, I wasn't unpopular. Okay, don't get me wrong. I was bullied, yes, but I was still a well liked kid.
You were that kid. I mean, like
No,
everywhere.
no, I wasn't that
You
kid.
were that kid, I promise you, because whether it was at Ligindogo or Kilimani Primary, Lavington Primary, or Makini School, I just used to, if I'm coming to get you, or if I've come for a conference of parents, teachers, whatever, kids always used to recognize me. You're Chris's mom. Always.
People didn't never call me Chris. It was so frustrating for me.
Charles.
When I was in Kilimani, they used to call me Charles. No.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
used
they
to
used to
call
call
you
me
Charles,
When I
and
went
also
to
in Lavington
they used to call me
Primary.
Charles. And when I went to Makini, they used to call me they used to call me Christopher. They used to say the whole thing. And then when I went to high school, I became
Luanga.
Yeah, and I've been Luanga ever since.
So I'm the only one who calls you Chris.
Yeah, legit.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but now I really prefer Luanga because
It's your
rare.
name.
Yeah, it's mine.
It's your name.
It's not my name, but
It's your name.
It's rare. It's rare. Yeah. But I ever met a shorty called Luanga before. It was very rare for me.
Anyway, so this was supposed to be like a 5-minute conversation.
And look at us now.
I know you're busy, and I appreciate you making the time to talk to me.
I feel like George Clooney. You're welcome for my time. If this was a video, people would think I was such a stuck up, egotistic, or a maniac. But I'm not. Sometimes. Okay, very little of the time.
You just have a really high opinion of yourself.
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, who's gonna love you?
Exactly,
you taught me that.
Yeah. I take the blame.
Yeah,
I take the blame.
You taught me that too well. It's your fault.
I take the blame. Yeah. It was me. I did it.
You're not sorry though. Yeah.
Anyway, so this session is at an end now.
Don't have any more questions.
We're gonna say good night.